Hi my loves, many kisses from Bali. So in this video I want to talk about the cords and why actually this whole notion of wanting to cut the cords and not creating the cords, in my opinion, is wrong and creates a lot of pain and suffering. In my opinion, we do want to create the cords, but in a specific way. And that links to the idea of being grounded or ungrounded, and that is also what can relieve a lot of the pain of the breakup. I don't know if you have ever gone through a breakup that literally torn you into pieces. In my case, I was suicidal after my breakup, and it wasn't because I created the cord to my boyfriend of the time that later I was in so much pain. It's that I created only one cord, and that was the issue. So I want to share with you a whole different view on cords, because in my understanding of how energy works in my own experience, this is actually a beautiful thing to work with. And cords are something that we want. So when you talk about this whole practice of, cutting the cords, it's about cutting dependency on someone else. And it's this amazing notion that we shouldn't be dependent on anything and anyone. But the truth is that this is not possible, and it's not how the world works. Like, you are dependent. You are dependent on the oxygen to breathe. You're dependent on food. As a toddler, you're dependent on your mother. Otherwise, you wouldn't survive. As an adult, we are dependent on other beings. We are social animals. So for our emotional health, we are absolutely dependent on the presence of other people in our lives. As a spiritual being, we are dependent on extra energies. We're dependent on the cosmic energy to give us direction and understanding that there is more to life, that there is a meaning in all of this. We are dependent on the energy of Earth because that's the source of vitality and support. So I would love to just let go of this idea that you shouldn't be dependent on anything and anyone. For me, people who say it and who try to practice this, they're actually extremely alone, and they're desperately searching for some sort of connectivity with something, because we all need it. We need connection. And that's how I look at cords. Cord is simply the channel, the energy channel through which the energy can flow. So if I have a cord created to my lover, it means that we have the channel through which we can send love, and we can send caring and nurturing and joy and fire and anything else that we want. And I need these things as a human being. I want to feel nurtured. I want to feel loved. And I get these emotions and these feelings through cords that I create with other people. So for me, I actually want to create many cords and really strong, well-established cords. So I have a lot of this energy flowing towards me. Okay, so now this is why I say that the issue is that, it's like, don't create the cords, and then we end up having just one cord that we're dependent on. So imagine you have like 20 really powerful, healthy cords, and then one breaks. You're not going to be much affected because you're still supported. But imagine you have only 2 or 3 cords and then one breaks. Or if you have only one. And that's the case with most people. When we get into a relationship, we finally can create this cord, and love cords are extremely powerful. So you have this very powerful, big, intense cord with your lover. And then you break up. And suddenly the only source of connection that you have, it's cut and it's loose. So, quite frankly, most of us are not connected. So even if I look at myself about 10 years ago, I was a huge party girl. I would go out every weekend and I knew so many people. So anytime I stepped to the club, it's like half of the people there would be like, oh my God, Magda, you're here. It's so lovely to see you. You look amazing. So I had lots and lots of these small cords. I had a very vivid social life, very rich social life, lots and lots of friends. But because these connections were not powerful, they were not strong and not well established, I needed more and more and more. And that's what so many of us do. When we go out and we party with 20 people, and then we do something here, and then we always do, and we always relate to a huge amount of people because we're searching for this connection. The cords we have with the friends, like I say, that we have, they're not powerful. They're very weak and they snap very easily. So we keep trying to create more and more and more. And then you have other people who are very introverts. They don't connect to people. They're by themselves. So whether you have tons and tons of acquaintances in your life, or if you have almost any, none, you will feel disconnected because these cords are not strong. So then you get into a relationship, woo, and you're so deeply in love and it's mutual. So you naturally create the cord with your lover. And because your soul, your body finally is like, oh my God, I have the connection. I can have the exchange of energy that I need, that yes, I'm dependent on because I need this to survive in this life. It suddenly creates this big cord and makes it really, really big because it's the only connection that you have. Right? So when that breaks because you decide to break up, whether you or your partner or both of you, when that cord gets broken, your only source of connection disappears. So it's not that you want to cut the cord. Cord cutting actually hurts. When you break up, you cut the cord. That's exactly what a breakup is. You have the connection, boom, it's not there. It's not the cutting of the cord that you should be doing. If anything, you should be pulling the remaining part of the cord, because here is what happens. So I have this little cord sticking outside of my body that was connected to my lover. We cut it. So he's doing whatever he's doing with his part of the cord, but mine is still here and it wants to connect. And because in my mind, that man was the only possibility to get connected, I'm ignorant and I don't see any possible connections that are around me. I only see this one man and I want him back and I cannot go forward without him because in my mind, this is the only place where my cord can connect. So I still have this dangling piece of cord that is desperately needing to find the other side. So I can pull the cord, and this way you can do the practice of pulling the cord because, you know, half of the cord, it's not healthy, it's desperate. But again, if you pull this cord and you don't have any other cords created, you're going to be separate. And you will have the feeling that I'm all alone. And this is when people get suicidal. Like I said, I was suicidal after my breakup because I lost the only connection that I had. Because most of us don't know how to create those healthy, strong cords. So today, I want to share with you a few things how to create those cords and what kind of cords we actually want to have in our lives. So like I said, you don't want 1, 2, 3. You want to, quite many. I think like 15 and 20. I don't know why. It just seems like this number, it's enough to support you. Because also understand, you cannot have, limitless number of powerful cords. We need to limit our energy. We're not as powerful. We cannot hold so much. There's only that much that you can share. So I think 15, 20, maybe even 15 just sounds so good for me as a number. So what those connections should be, which 15 should those be? The first one is, and I'll start with maybe the most obvious ones, and then I'll go more deeper. But the first one is your family. And, living in conscious communities, I hear often people saying that, like, they don't want to go back home because their family is not at the same level as they are, that they really let go of a lot of, like, behaviors that don't serve them. So when they go home, they get triggered because their family is, still in the old paradigm. And let them be. Look, if you really look at life from the tantric perspective, that every human being is divine, then why would you think that your way of living is any better than theirs? And and they may be eating unhealthy, and they may still get very triggered, and they may still have, the low conscious behavior. But the universe decided that it wants to experience that, so let it. Why is, for example, this blue dress any better than someone who decides to wear a green dress? It's just a different experience, a different form of expression. And none of it is better or worse. So whatever your family is doing, it's just the universe expressing itself through your parents in this way. And it's perfect. So try to look through your parents' physicality and personality that and maybe the things that really piss you off. Try to look through this and find this divine element. If we say so much in those conscious communities that each one of us is just the reflection of the divine, that I am the goddess and every woman is a goddess, every man is God, that is true for your family as well. There is a God and a goddess in your parents. Try to see that and understand that whatever they do is just as perfect as what you are doing. Have those conversations that maybe you need to have. If there is anything that you need to heal, if you feel like conversation is important, have it. And if it's not needed, then don't have it. Don't impose those deep conversations on your parents if they don't want to talk about these things. That was a huge lesson for me. I realized that, you know what, there are certain aspects where me and my family, we just don't agree. And if I let them be the way they want, suddenly everything is perfect. I have an incredible relationship with my family. And that means that they know a lot of the work that I do. They know I work with sexual tantra. And there's certain aspects that I notice they don't really want to know. And I'm perfectly fine with that. But your family is the first source of these healthy cords. It's your parents, it's your siblings if you have any, it's your grandparents, if you have a bigger family, and aunts that are physically close to you. Work on this as well. If you have children, it's your children as well. My family is small. I have a mom, a dad, one brother, and right now only one grandpa. And then my brother is married and he has a little girl. So for me, this is like my secondary family. But my family, my parents, I'm very close to them. My grandfather, I'm very close to him. My brother, I'm as close as I can be. We're very different. But again, I have him as support. So that's your first source of healthy cords and healthy connections. The second one is your friends. And I think here it's, look at like your 5 most important people in life. And how do you create those cords? How do you move from just this, easy social connection to building something more intimate and deeper, to build a strong cord with these people? Honestly, by being a good friend. If you are a great friend to them, they will match it. Oftentimes, people are very proud and there's someone who needs to take a first step. And if you can be this person, I can guarantee you the other person will meet you there. You have to drop your veils. You have to show your vulnerability. If you open yourself up emotionally to your friends, they will meet you there. Especially if you, let's say, the more spiritual one, as in you've practiced different, tools of conscious communication and so on, and they haven't, then yes, be the one who does that, because they just don't know how to do it. Invite them to this space. But everyone desires and actually craves for this intimate connection, to create those cords. Everyone wants to create the cords, we just don't know how. So if you invite them, you get to do it. That means that if your friends need you, be there for them. If one of your closest friends is going through a difficult time and you had plans to go, I don't know, for dinner, maybe you can cancel the dinner. Or maybe you can go for dinner, but like send a message that's, love, I have to go out now. I'll be back in 3 hours. Maybe we can try to talk in the evening. I recently had a situation like this. My really good friend needed help, and I was very busy. And I was like, oh my God, I really want to be there for her, and I cannot because I have all of these things happening. And so I just tried as much as I could, sending some voice messages when I was free, and we finally managed to talk. And so right at this point, it was me trying to find the balance between my needs and hers. But show up for your friends as much as you can. It's not like the priority number 10. They need to be your priority. And if you treat them like this, they will treat you like this the same way. And this is how you create those good cords. And also remember about love languages. So if you're not familiar, I think it's called The 5 Languages of Love. But if you just search in Google, you'll find the website. It's a really short book that you can buy if you want. But basically, the website gives you enough information. And it talks about the 5 ways that we express and we receive love. So take a moment to watch your friends and try to figure out what is their primary love language. Because we also want to express love not just to our lovers, and our families, but also to our friends. So you can, if for example, that your friend is big on gifts, you can give them some little gifts. Or if they appreciate words of affirmation that you can say, just say things like, I had this one girlfriend she would use the sentence, I'm proud of you. And it had such an effect on me that I started using the same phrase on other people. I am the kind of person who goes out to strangers and give them compliments because I know what it means to me. So I want to share the same. So see if you can use these languages to really create a strong friendship. Now, the third cord that we really want to create is the cord to Mother Earth. The earth energy is the source of our vitality. That's where we come from. That's all the creation. And this is the strength that you feel, your endurance, and it's also feeling supported. So if you feel like no one loves you, it's because you're disconnected from earth. Now, the energy of earth is the energy of the mother. So it's a very similar connection you have to your biological mother. So sometimes, for example, if you don't have the best relationship with your mother, connecting to earth can actually be very helpful. And how do you connect to earth? Go and lie on grass with your belly to the ground. and preferably if you can have naked skin, even better. Walk on earth as much as possible without your shoes. So go on grass. If you have just a tiny bit of grass in your place, go and step on the grass. Touch with your palms. You can place your cheek on the grass. You can kiss the grass. Touch the rocks. Touch the trees. Anything that's a direct creation from Mother Earth. Touch it, hug it, close your eyes, and tune in and listen. It's incredible how much information is there. It's one of my big paths right now, is to hear even more. And I recently went to this waterfall and I just lied on the rocks and I was listening and listening, and I got so much information from the rocks. From the rocks. But Mother Earth has really lots of knowledge and insights for us. So don't take this for granted. Use this connection. Also, go into nature as much as possible. And if you're in the city, then surround yourself with plants. Put a lot of plants in your house. Like, put rocks. Anytime I go like for a hike, I bring like some rock or stone into my house, and have these connections in your house. You know, bring as much nature as possible into your house. If you have a balcony or a garden, make sure there's a lot of plants and trees and bushes growing. That's your little sanctuary over there. Also, you can do you can go out as much as possible fresh, with the fresh air, and look at the sun and do sun gazing, or just take some sun. Of course, not when it's the strongest, because you can get burned. And by the way, I just recently got burned, and peeling, that hasn't happened in like 15 years. So you can overdo it, don't overdo it, but take advantage of the sun. Sun has a very strong energy for us. And another thing is that allow nature to put you in the state of awe. So 2 days ago, I went for a hike in a canyon, and it was, oh my God, incredible. And at one point, I saw this butterfly, this like fluorescent green. I've never seen a butterfly of this color. And I sat there watching this butterfly in awe. I was like, oh my God, I melted into the butterfly. And I'm observing all these little insects with so much colors, like red and blue and green, and it's incredible. So can you look at the flower and really allow yourself to be amazed by its beauty? I love diving. If you're a diver, you probably can relate to this feeling when you go underwater and you see creatures. Like the first time I saw mantas, I cried because I was so moved by the beauty. So allow yourself to be awed by nature. In fact, if you follow yoga, and if you're familiar with the state of samadhi is basically the state of enlightenment, and you can have like just little insights. Like you can have samadhi for like a second, or you can stay there for really long. Of course, the longer, the more difficult it gets. But you can get those little samadhi states by looking at nature, by looking at the flower and melting into the flower. These are these moments of awe. It's when you're one with the nature. That's your samadhi. So it's a very powerful thing to do. Then you also want to create the fourth chord. It's the chord with the cosmos, or Father Sky, whatever you want to call it, or the universe. This is the source of the feeling that there is a bigger picture, that we're all connected, and that you're a spiritual being, that you're more than the physical body. And you can create this chord by looking in the sky, especially at night, and looking at stars and looking at the moon. Do practice with the full moon when you get to just, take the energy of the moon. So actually, I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning, and through my big window, I could see the moon. And it's the full moon, by the way, today. So I could see this amazing moon, and I just got up. At 5 a.m., I went outside and I stared at the moon. And that's how you get the energy of the cosmos. So just go out at night and just look up. If you have a balcony, just look up, at night at the sky. And that's how you get this creation of the chord with the sky. You can go into the mountains. So the higher you go in altitude, the closer you are to the energy as well. And then any practice, any meditation you do on the higher chakras, so meaning Vishuddha, Ajna, or Sahasrara, any practice you do on these 3 higher chakras, you're also connecting to the cosmos. Now, another chord that's super, super important, it's the chord to yourself, to your heart, to your soul. And how do you do this? Well, most of us are disconnected from ourselves. We have lots of these little connections to the outside, these unhealthy, weak chords, and we don't have the chord to ourselves. So we don't listen to ourselves. Oftentimes we do things because we should. Like, for example, well, I need to. Like, well, today I have to go to work. And you actually don't get much of a say. Maybe today you don't feel like working. Your body would just love to stay home and do nothing. but you kind of can't do it because you signed the contract that you're going to go to work. So we actually live in times when we don't really get to listen to our body often. But what I invite you to do is to try at least to hear what your body is saying. So before, for example, you eat anything, close your eyes and ask your body, what do you feel like eating? And maybe you won't hear anything at first. That's okay. But keep doing the practice and eventually you will. If you're dressing in the morning, especially for women, because it's such a big way of expressing our feminine nature with how we dress. So again, take a moment. What do I feel like wearing? This color or that color? Do I want to put my hair in a braid or have it loose? Just check in with yourself. And spend time with yourself. But I don't mean that, well, I have nothing else to do, so I'll just be by myself, I'll watch some movies. No. Make it intentional. Say like, whoa, like think of some of your friends. Like, I would love to hang out with Mark or Jessica. It's like, oh, I'd love to hang out with myself. And then if anyone invites you to do something else, you're like, sorry guys, I already have plans with myself. So you hang out with yourself because this way you get to actually get to know yourself better. And see if you can let go of a lot of shoulds in life. So I am actually going through a big phase in my life when I'm trying to follow my bliss. And for me, it's a big thing. I'm a Virgo, and Virgos are like the masters of being really hard on ourselves. And it's like, I would do a lot of things in my life from the place that I have to, I should. Like, right now I should go to the temple. But do I want to go to the temple? I have a pool in the house that I'm staying here in Bali. And I'm like, I should use the pool. But do I want to use the pool? And sometimes for me right now it's saying no to things that, yeah, I should do. Like I'm working on a book, I'm writing a book, and I should be doing this every day. But again, I should. And so sometimes, it's actually good to maybe be less productive and kind of fall behind some of your to-dos, but just to really tune into your body. What does your body want to do? Where is your bliss? And see if you can follow your bliss instead of the shoulds. So these are the primary connections, the 5 connections. So this is your family, your best friends, Earth, cosmos, and yourself. But then there are additional ones that it's also something good to work into. So first one would be your teacher or your guru. If you have someone that you really trust, like if you have a specific healer that you go to whenever you have any problems, it's good to create cords with them. Now, again, cords should be mutual, because otherwise it becomes an unhealthy cord where it's like this loose cord that's not attached. So you create the cord, you build it, and then it's not attached, and then it's desperate, and then it desperately wants to get attached to something. So of course, if it's someone external, like again with your friends, your family, it probably easily will be mutual. But with a teacher or a guru, maybe it will not be mutual. So you have to also see what kind of a cord you can create, and this is why these are like the secondary cords, because maybe this is not available for you. But if it is, then follow this. You can also create cords to any other entities that are supportive for you. So it can be your guardian angel, it can be any of your ancestors, it can be any spirits, like positive, good spirits. If someone that you really cared about passed away, you can also have this cord with them. So that's another way of connecting more. It can be also a cord created to your home. For some of us, having our own space is very important, and when you put your heart into making it a home, you create also the cord. And so some of us, when we travel, you may feel a bit like disconnected and not so good, but when you come back home, you have suddenly this peace of mind, like, oh, I'm okay now. So you have the cord with your home, and these cords can be also helpful. And then to your lover, and I keep it as the last one because, like I said, most of us just create the cords with the lover. So that's the goal. I need the lover because I need connection. And we get into relationships from the place of I need connection. But if you have all of these cords already created, then whether the lover is there or not, it kind of doesn't make a big difference. So you don't create this connection from the place of desperation and needing. It's a very different cord. It's still powerful and strong and beautiful, but it's not the only one. And this is why in the list of all the cords to create, this is the last one. When the lover comes, create the cord. And when they're not there, it's okay because you have all of the other cords that you've already created. So this is the whole new approach to cords and how they can actually really help you. They are the source of your grounding. They're the source of your connection. And when you have many and healthy cords, this is what will keep you away from these extremely painful breakups. So I hope that this video will help you. If you are right now struggling with the breakup, I really hope that this will give you some idea of how to work with it, and that you will also find it inspiring to really start creating this healthy, good chords in your life so that you do feel loved and supported and cared for no matter what happens. Thank you so much for tuning in, and if you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for Magda K. Visit my website, it's www.magdak.com, and if you want to work together, go deeper into these aspects, you can also read some more information on my website, and check out, my Instagram and my Facebook. Let's stay connected. Talking about connection, let's stay connected, because I love sharing this information with you, and I get a lot of satisfaction and love from your comments and from your feedback. So thank you so much for listening, and I'm wishing you a beautiful day.